dangerous place to be in World War II was in one of these. On the Allied side, more people were lost flying as a rear gunner in bomber command than any other position. 7 positions on Lanc. His was the most dangerous because the night fighters always came up behind at night. They had radar and they could find you in the dark, and they would sneak up behind you, try and get up underneath the Lancaster or the Halifax bomber or the Wellington or whichever type it was. They would sneak up underneath you, and with their 20mm cannon, they would fire up into your gas tanks, and instantly you were on fire, or worse yet, you just exploded. Lots of guys I've talked to said, yeah, I was looking out beside us, I saw a big flash in the sky. I knew it was a Lancaster blowing up. So these guys had a very dangerous life, as short as it was. Sometimes they got lucky. And I'll tell you a little story about one guy who survived something that he shouldn't have. March 1944, flying over the Black Forest of Germany, a rear gunner named Flight Sergeant Alchemy was in his Lancaster at 20,000 feet. They got hit by anti-aircraft fire. Anti-aircraft fire from 88mm German guns, which were excellent guns, by the way. They could reach 20,000 feet. And bang, their plane was on fire. So the pilot, the skipper, ordered everybody out. He knew the plane was doomed, it was starting to go down. So he said, okay, abandon ship, everybody get out. So this fellow, Flight Sergeant Alchemy, looked behind him, and he always stored his parachute, as all of them had to, behind him in the fuselage. So he opened the little doors behind him, which you'll see me doing here in a few minutes, reached back to get his parachute, it was on fire. So he knew there was no sense trying to rescue that parachute and put it on. So he closed his little doors and thought, okay, I would rather die jumping out than burning to death. So he turned his turret sideways, which was the only way out, and with burned hands, by the way, opened the little doors, and he bailed out backwards into the night sky from 18,000 feet. This is all documented. He fell through the night sky, achieving terminal velocity of 120 feet per second, falling down, fell for 3 miles through the night sky, hit a bunch of big fir trees, broke a bunch of branches on the way down through these trees, and then landed in 3 feet of snow. It was March, so it was the end of winter, or near the end of winter. He was knocked out, laying there unconscious, and finally woke up to the sound of dogs and voices. And all of a sudden, these guys had rifles pointed at him. "Was ist los? What are you doing here?" He said, "I bailed out of that Lancaster you shot down." "No, you lie! Where is your parachute?" He said, "I jumped without one." "No, you lie! You come with us, you will be shot as a spy. Come to headquarters." So they took him away, got him to headquarters, and luckily for him, some of his other crew had been captured as well. They identified him. Yeah, that's Flight Sergeant Alchemy. He's our rear gunner. And yeah, he must have jumped without his parachute. Well, they looked later on in the crashed Lancaster, they found the remains of his parachute. So that's a verified story. For every one of those stories, there's 100 where the guy didn't make it. During World War II, the most dangerous place to be on the Allied side was in bombers. Yeah. 55,000 young aircrew died in these things. And that's why we have this place here. We're paying homage to those guys because they gave us a free country today. Anyway, without further ado, I will fire this thing up and show you how it works.
That's amazing.
Of him jumping out.
Thank you.
I don't see any trees or snow down there. But this is how a rear gunner would escape a burning Lancaster if he wanted to try and save himself. These guys had on heated suits and they had on big sheepskin lined boots. Lots of times when they bailed out, those boots are so large, they stayed in the turret when they bailed out. And I heard a story about two gunners, the mid-upper gunner and the rear gunner, bailed out of their aircraft. The rear gunner lost his boots, they stayed inside. He landed in his stocking feet in a field in France, covered in about 6 inches of snow. So he's in his stocking feet, it's cold out, it's middle of the night. So his mid-upper gunner lands close to him and he says to him, he said, "Let's bury our parachutes and get out of here." The mid-upper gunner, he was cold and scared and he said, "No, I'm going to stay here. The Germans are right over there. They'll just come and arrest me. I'll go to a POW camp. It'll be warm there. I'll be fine." The rear gunner said, "No, I'm going to try and find the French underground and escape." So he buried his parachute and ran away. But the mid-upper gunner stayed there. The Germans came across the field. When they got to him, machine guns. He was dead. So he should have tried to run away too. The other fellow made it through the lines and back to England. Anyway, that's the way it was, and it was very dangerous.
My mom's first cousin was rear gunner. Halifax, 51 trips over Berlin.
Oh, really?
Come back alive.
Fantastic.
The pilot of the plane, come to see him every year.